remaining.
And now without Bam and Dragic, this thing is a quick 4-0 wrap.
Well, first of all, Chris, I want to say this is the first time I've ever agreed with Chuck. It will be a sweep.
Well, you can make it 3 for 3. I agree it's going to be a sweep, and I don't think you have to be, a hoop genius to see that.
Well, let's start off with the sweep. I too agree with Chuck. Wow, I can't believe it.
Welcome to NBA Game Time Finals presented by YouTube TV. And you heard Charles Barkley, Grant Hill, Chris Webber, and Smitty all say we're going to get a sweep. Well, this game went as predicted in the sense that it's the third game in these finals that we had decided by 10 points or more. But this time around, it's Miami Heat showing signs of life. Jimmy Butler, 40 points. 11 assists, 13 rebounds, did everything he could to get the win, and it's now Miami getting that victory. But, Chuck, the very last words you had in the pregame show was, I guarantee a sweep. And look what happened.
Well, first of all, I don't know if I guaranteed a sweep. Stop it, Mr. Miles. Listen, I want to take my hat off to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Listen, Tyler Hero, all those guys, these guys were awesome tonight. That was a perfect Miami Heat basketball game. They are terrifically coached. They are very well disciplined. But this, to me, was two things. Number one, Jimmy Butler willing his team to win this game. But, Chris, we had this conversation earlier today talking about when the Lakers win, whether it's 4 or 5 games, it doesn't matter. You saw tonight, when Anthony Davis doesn't dominate, they're not going to win. He was in foul trouble, and don't even worry about what his numbers were. We were having that debate earlier. Anthony Davis, hey, listen, I got nothing but respect and admiration for LeBron James. But if Anthony Davis doesn't dominate, because this Lakers team, they're not a great team. They got 2 great players and a bunch of Jags, just guys. Hey, just another guy. That's what I call them. They're just Jags. Just a guy.
Well,
they got 2 guys. But they got 2 guys who are amazing. But if those 2 guys don't play great, the Lakers aren't going to win. And tonight, Jimmy Butler was the best player on the court, and that's why the Miami Heat won.
Well, clearly Jimmy Butler, not just another guy, because he put up a performance with some legends. Jerry West, James Worthy, Charles Barkley. There you go, Chuck. Steph Curry and LeBron James has done it 5 times, 30-point triple-doubles in the finals. But those 40, 11, and 13, those numbers have never been met or exceeded by any of the guys on this list in one single finals game. So when you see those numbers, you see those stats, Grant, how impressive was Jimmy Gets Buckets Butler? Because tonight we can certainly call him that.
Well, first of all, Chris, I want to apologize to America and all the fans out there watching. Just like Chuck messed me up in the second annual Black Masters with his golf game for 3 months, I think predicting after him messed me up as well. So I want to apologize. Jimmy Butler was fantastic. And, Coach Spo said that after game 2, they needed a Herculean effort from Jimmy Butler, and he provided that. And like Chuck said, he willed them. I mean, he came out, he got people involved, he played with confidence, he took care of the basketball. He was the best player on the floor. And that's what Miami needed, to hang in there, to get their confidence back. He was attacking, he was facilitating, he was making plays for his teammates. And he just brought that confidence and that mental toughness necessary when the odds are down and not in your favor. And, of course, defensively, doing a great job matching up against LeBron James. And so one of the most impressive performances I've seen in the finals, Jimmy Butler putting his team on his back and willing them here and keeping them alive. And now more time to recover. Maybe they can get some more artillery back. Maybe Bam Adebayo gets back. But now Miami feels like, okay, we have a chance. And I was blown away. I kept waiting for the Lakers to make a run. I kept waiting for the Lakers. Okay, I thought in the fourth quarter when they tied things up, okay, here they go. They're going to close it out. But Jimmy Butler and his team were playing so high and so much confidence and able to secure that win. Just a great win for that franchise.
Yeah, certainly when Rondo made that layup and the Lakers went up 93-91 after being down 14 in the third quarter, Grant, it certainly seemed as if what you felt like was happening was going to happen, but Jimmy Butler continued to take over. C-Webb, I got to look at Anthony Davis's first quarter and come to you on that. It's something, as what Chuck said, that he has to be dominant, but he had 4 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, no shots, no points, and just 1 assist in those first 8 minutes in the first quarter. How detrimental was that for the Lakers once they got down in that hole and AD was struggling so much?
Well, Chuck said it all. I mean, it's just the fact that the way this team goes, I know everybody wants other narratives, and we're watching one of the greatest players in the history of the game, and LeBron, play in the finals. But they cannot win without AD being their best player on the court. It just can't happen. He's the one mismatch that this team has at every time and every turn. So it's upon him to be aggressive. It's upon the coaches to call and get him plays in his sweet spot and kind of isolate him to make sure he has no choice but to be aggressive. And then it's up to his guards to make sure they're cutting so that they can get in the passing lanes if he gets double teamed. But I really don't feel bad about predicting the fact that Miami should have lost. Miami should have lost. They're nowhere near as good as this Laker team, period. That's just the truth of it. But that's the great thing about sports, right? Is the fact that we all, have proved people wrong our whole lives, and that's what Jimmy Butler did tonight. That's the great thing about sports. When you're supposed to lose, sometimes you can pull yourself out against the odds, and you have to love the Miami Heat heart, and you have to love what Jimmy Butler does. He's the battery in their back. I saw like a fake snarl by one of the guards at the end of the – I just started laughing like, oh, that's Jimmy Butler making them believe. And so I love the fact that they believe because of him, and so it's definitely fun to watch.
Well, we certainly have to pay attention to the fact that it's the Miami Heat in the sense of, Chuck, I know you're a college football guy. And it was as if the Miami Heat were passing over the Miami Hurricanes turnover chain. In that first quarter, the Lakers had 10 turnovers. That's the most in NBA Finals history in a single quarter. What did you see early from LeBron with 4 turnovers, AD with 4 turnovers, and the Lakers struggling to take care of the ball?
Well, listen, we can all get excited and act like Miami's back in the series, but the Lakers are still in control of the series. This to me was a team that's like, you know what, we're 2 games away from the championship, and they underestimated that the other team got NBA players also, and one guy had a heroic night. What Jimmy did tonight was amazing. But listen, this is the Lakers team. They have 2 guys who are amazing. And I told you, no disrespect, because every NBA team got this. I call them Jags. Just a guy. Every NBA team got a bunch of Jags. But the key is, do you have enough supers? And if LeBron and AD, if they don't play great, I said this on TNT, LeBron and AD, if they play great, those other guys, they're front runners. No disrespect, they're front runners. They play well when AD and LeBron play well. Hey, that's the thing. I had this argument with Shaq on the show, Chris, about a week ago. LeBron finished with like a triple-double. We didn't have a good game. They lost the game. And Shaq was like, we had great numbers. I said, yeah, he didn't put an imprint on the game. You could not have watched that game tonight and say LeBron or AD had an imprint on the game. And you said something interesting. The Miami Heat were up the whole game. The whole game. They got off to a bad start. You talk about the turnovers by AD and LeBron. But listen, I always tell people, the other NBA team, they got some guys. They don't have AD, LeBron, or KD, or somebody like that. But those other guys got players. So tonight, Jimmy Butler, the game was close. He only had to make 3 or 4 shots, and that was the game. So, but I'm really happy for the Heat because I hate to see, one of my proud things about my career, I never got swept. Because if you get swept, that's as humiliating and embarrassing. That is as low as it can go. Just for the record, Shaq got swept like 8 times, but that's neither here nor there. But listen, it was a really great win for the Miami Heat. But listen, let's don't get it twisted. The Lakers are still in control of the series. And let me tell you something. I don't know if Bam foot thing is a real serious deal, but man, I just don't see how the Lakers can lose this series. We thought they were going to sweep it, but it's probably going to be a gentleman's sweep where they beat them 4-5. But hey, let's give Miami credit, man. I was really proud of those guys tonight because they battled.
Grant, I'm going to give you an opportunity to disagree with Chuck in this sense. Bam Adebayo, obviously not just another guy. If he's able to come back an all-star for the Miami Heat in this series, can he make enough of an impact for Miami now to come back and win this whole thing? We saw Jimmy Butler mouth at the very end of it that they're in trouble, which I don't know if I'm buying that yet. But, Grant, do you think Miami now has more of a chance after winning Game 3?
Well, look, Adebayo's going to